Gonna say hello? Welcome to our Wednesday TNT. Well, some of these Thai Chinese gangs and money launderers are getting a very swift crackdown. We'll go through some of that a bit later in the program. Also, a new visa. It's being announced starting in January next year. We've got electricity going up and more flooding in Phuket. That's all we need at the moment. Anyway, this is TNT. Please subscribe to the channel if you get a moment. And a big thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine. Starting off today with the cost of electricity. It's something that's going to affect us all, and the Bangkok Post is reporting that electricity charges are about to rise 14%. The cost of electricity will rise about 14% to a minimum of 5.37 baht per unit. What do you pay for your electricity? I know some people in condos and apartments pay in addition to the actual fee the condo is charged. I pay the flat rate, so I'd be up for this 5.37 baht per unit. And that's between January and April next year because of rising fuel costs. Down the bottom there, EGAT says at the 5.37 baht rate, EGAT would have a 122 billion baht loss by the end of April. So one way or the other, the government's subsidising this, which means, of course, the taxpayers, you and me, we are paying for the increased electricity one way or the other. Without a fee rise next year, the state enterprise would face a deficit of 170 million baht. The ERC based the new electricity fee mainly on the cost of natural gas, imported coal and diesel, which are the main ways they use to make electricity here in Thailand. It's expected the price of natural gas to rise by 17%, so it looks like electricity is going to be going up. I'm glad to say that some of the petrol and diesel costs have been coming down over the past couple of months after hitting a high, I don't know, around about August, September this year. But anyway, the electricity is about to go up. Bad luck if you've just bought an electric car. So here we go to The Nation, and they're reporting about Nuan, the presenter of APEC. Now, there's not much really to talk about APEC. I think the media in Thailand are trying to wind this up into some sort of frenzy of excitement. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a whole lot of people in suits sitting around in a conference building that none of us can go and watch anyway. So they have dragged out this poor animal, Nuan, the presenter. Nuan is considered one of Thailand's soft powers. And in talking about Nuan, this badly written sentence, Nuan is considered of Thailand's soft power. Soft power is this sort of soft PR, this non-specific public relations, like when a singer might sing a song about Thailand. Again, it gets a lot of hits and views in YouTube. Well, that sort of soft power, soft PR. So this article talking about Nuan's role in promoting APEC and held under the concept of open, connect and balance. Not sure if the cat is aware of any of these concepts or of her role, but here's a bit about Nuan anyway. She's female, white, dark brown and orange. First spotted 2 years ago at the Foreign Affairs Ministry. So Nuan's a street cat. Nothing wrong with that. Location, Faculty of Science, Mahidol University and Foreign Affairs Ministry. Activities, relaxing in a green field when she's not entertaining staff or catching rodents. Oh, and I just love this last line. Nuan's history is in line with the APEC concept, open, connect, balance, as she's travelled between Mahidol University and the Foreign Affairs Ministry with her feline friends. Yes, I can see the obvious links there. This one would be much better. This is Dina, the cat. Do you want to look at the camera? There you are. Look at the camera. Cat's not very cooperative when being asked to do things. No, don't walk on the... Anyway, that was... Oh, good view. Thanks, Dina. Oh, how do I get it back? Oh. Why on earth did I bring the cat on? Anyway, it's TNT. Thank you very much for watching. It's Wednesday. The things we do. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the program, and this is from ThaiExaminer.com. Net to widen on Chinese money gangs. Top police officer warns of powerful financial interests. Let's go to this story, and I'm not sure what ThaiExaminer.com, they write very long paragraphs and they don't put any spacing between the other lines. Makes it particularly hard to read. The font also isn't particularly easy to read using one of these bold fonts. Anyway, General Surachat Hakpan underlined that police do not fear being sued by the criminal gangs, but said they had to approach the case from this point with care and diligence, as they were fighting groups who were financially very powerful. At the same time, he underlined the importance of pursuing the evidence tenaciously to uphold the law. Surachat Hakpan is certainly no one to be messed with. He's very efficient. They love him. He's the poster boy. He's the one they drag out when they need to crack these big nuts. So just further down in that article, he also pointed out that most of the Chinese suspects involved hold dual Thai-Chinese nationality and urged people not to be prejudiced against the normal, law-abiding Chinese people who visit Thailand or do business in the country. Certainly a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment over this particular issue in social media, and he is saying that a lot of these people are in fact dual nationality Thai-Chinese. And he says the latest area being looked at by police investigators as they trawl through intelligence being gleaned from raids points to the activities of the Thai nationals acting as nominees for Chinese buyers of property or in connection with Thai companies that are in effect controlled by suspect Chinese operators. This is the way that a lot of overseas criminals do their activities. Here in Thailand, they get a Thai company which acts as the sort of the front door, and then it's basically operated by other people and funded by other people from foreign countries. But a Thai nominee, a person, does have to put their name on the company directors list, and now it looks like the police are going to be chasing some of those Thai nominees. Police unearthed huge new threat from Chinese drug cartels with 300 million baht seized in Bangkok, and down the bottom there up to 30 arrest warrants are in the pipeline as police plan also to go after Thai nationals who acted as nominee owners and company shareholders in weeks. So the article from ThaiExaminer.com certainly focusing on the fact that Thai police know exactly what's going on. They're cracking down, and with someone like Surachat Hakpan behind it, I think we'll see a lot more news developing in the next few weeks on this issue. Let's talk about new visas now. Maybe this one might suit you. This is from the Bangkok Post. New medical treatment visa is planned for January the 1st. There's certainly been some changes on visas in recent months. I think we've got some more coming up in the future as well, as Thailand tries to woo foreigners back to Thailand to visit and to live here, maybe even to work here. We note that, for example, for tourists coming from a lot of countries, you now get, with the visa exemption, an extension from 30 to 45 days automatically when you arrive, and a lot of the rise in tourism numbers appears to have been because of these extensions of some 15 days to the visa on arrival and visa exemption program. Let's go to the story. In Thailand plans to introduce a new medical treatment visa. It's tentatively planned for January the 1st next year, and down the bottom there there's a proposal to reduce the fee for applicants to 5,000 baht. The new visa allows multiple entries and is valid for 1 year. The visa holder can stay in the country for 90 days. 3 people who are immediate family members are also allowed. So, well, what sort of treatment is this going to cover? I can see a lot of you already thinking, oh, gee, I've got an ingrown toenail. Maybe I could go to Thailand to get that fixed. Here we go. Patients who need further medical treatment are required to report to immigration authorities every 90 days. So, just like a lot of the other non-immigrant visas, applicants must have at least 800,000 baht to cover expenses in Thailand. I imagine you're going to have to show some proof of that when you apply for the visa. And accident and COVID-19 insurance. policies with a minimum coverage of 3 million baht are needed. So there are some of the issues that and the guidelines and requirements for this new medical visa. Tourists applying for this visa must have health conditions that hospitals in Thailand can treat. I imagine that's probably just about anything, and requires more than 90 days of medical treatment. Okay, so the ingrown toenails definitely out. I think we're talking about probably relatively serious and therefore expensive medical procedures. They include anti-aging and regenerative medical treatment, coronary artery disease, cancer, dental care and cosmetic surgery. So Thailand trying to cement its place as a hub for medical tourism. It's definitely got some excellent medical facilities and some great hospitals, particularly in some of the major centres. So it'll be interesting to see how that's taken up as a visa option, and people who are considering medical procedures might think, well, maybe I can go to Thailand instead, because it's most likely to be much cheaper and the standard of care here in most cases is very good indeed. Let's talk about protests now, and The Nation has this article, Don fears Bangkok protest may derail APEC summit. This is Don Pramudwinai, who's the foreign minister, and he's voiced concerns that anti-government protests could destroy the peaceful atmosphere at the APEC summit in Bangkok this week. So the government keep on talking about asking for, wanting, even demanding a peaceful summit, whereas maybe a nice cup of tea and a discussion with some of these protest leaders may get them the result that they want. The Talufa and Ratsadon anti-government groups have announced plans to rally in Bangkok from today until Friday. The main APEC meeting starts on Friday. Don Pramudwinai says he couldn't say whether Thailand was 100% ready to host the APEC meeting. The two anti-government groups have been allowed to protest opposite City Hall in Phra Nakhon district, 4 kilometres from the summit venue of the Queen Sirikit National Convention Centre. If you're a protester, you don't want to be 4 kilometres away from the action and the cameras. You want to be a centre of attention. That's the whole idea of protesting. Police intelligence have detected no other signs of political activism this week, and Don dismissed concerns that the chaos of the 2009 ASEAN summit in Pattaya could be repeated. So what happened back in 2009? If you're not aware, here's just a quick bit of history. It happened on the 11th of April. This is from Wikipedia. Major roads, the gates to Pattaya, were blocked. Violent clashes occurred. There were two groups. There was the UDD, which is the United Front of Democracy Against Dictatorship. They're the red shirts. And then so Thai loyalists, they were dressed not as yellow shirts this time, but as blue shirts. They were dark blue T-shirts. And since the police failed to halt the rallies, the masses eventually stormed the hotel, and the protests caused the ASEAN summit to be cancelled. Pretty ugly vision. Let's go to some of that vision, and this is from Thai PBS at the time. The delegates and some of the conference leaders trying to get out of the way, and the protesters basically stormed into the building in their hundreds. And it was quite a worrying situation for police and the delegates at the ASEAN summit at the time. And of course, all these pictures beamed around the world. So Don's fears may be well-founded given the history of protests around Thailand in the past, and that's not a very distant memory back in 2009 in Pattaya. Anyway, to some flooding, and the southern island of Phuket has had some more flooding overnight, late in the wet season, and all eyes, I'm sure, today will be on those repairs on the road going over Patong Hill, to see if the heavy rains last night have affected that. And here's some photos from, this is from Newshawk Phuket. That's right in the centre of Phuket town there. A car making a very slow journey there. I hope it's not an electric car, through some flooded roads. People there making their way through. It looks like that looks like Bangla Road perhaps, And then right back in Phuket Town, some more flooding in the historical centre of Old Phuket Town. So very heavy rains overnight indeed in Phuket, and I suppose we'll find out a bit more today whether there's been any more damage. Speaking of APEC, just very briefly, Thai PBS World air passengers are advised to allow more time for their travels to the airport. Passengers taking flights out of Bangkok are being advised to allow 3 hours before boarding time for travel to Suvarnabhumi and Don Muang, and the advice applies from today until November the 20th, because those APEC leaders might want a couple of days for some massages and shopping before they head off again. That's one day after the end of the APEC summit in Bangkok. The airlines explained that due to the closure of several roads in Bangkok as part of security arrangements, traffic flow in the capital is going to be affected, and this may lengthen journeys from their hotels to the two airports. So some good advice there if you are living in Bangkok or travelling around the city over the next 3 or 4 days. Might be good to avoid some of those areas around APEC in the sort of central Sukhumvit area. You're just going to clean yourself, are you? Okay, so from me and from Dina, a big thanks to 5 Star Marine, and yeah, I think you should be the cat for APEC, not that other. Oh, don't touch the keyboard. Oh God, you're going to make things go all funny. Thanks for watching. Yes, I'll pat you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Maybe.